Good afternoon. Welcome to the 2022 U.S. Open. We're thrilled to be here this week at the Country Club, one of the USGA's 5 founding clubs for the 122nd U.S. Open. Promises to be a special week at a very special place. We're pleased to welcome this afternoon Phil Mickelson, who is playing in his 30th U.S. Open. First one was in 1990, just after 1988 here, but obviously has some great history here, 1999 Ryder Cup. Phil, before we get started with some questions, certainly that I have, and I know our media friends here have, I know you wanted to make a few comments to start today.
Well, I wanted to say that it's nice to be back, nice to see you guys, and it's been 4 months. It's been a necessary time and an opportunity for me to step away a little bit and put a little bit of thought and reflection into going forward and how to best prioritize things. And it's given me an opportunity to spend time with Amy, to spend time with loved ones, and continue some of the work therapy-wise on some of the deficiencies that I have, certainly, and as well as focus on best path forward. So it's been a positive time in that regard. I know that many of you have many people have strong opinions, emotions about my choice to go forward with LIV Golf, and I understand and I respect that. I'm incredibly grateful for the PGA Tour and for the many opportunities that it has provided me through the years, but I am excited about this new opportunity as well. I'm excited about being here in Boston at the Country Club. It's one of the 5 founding members of this of the USGA. It's got incredible, rich history going back to Francis we met. It has provided me one of the most memorable moments of my career, the '99 Ryder Cup and the comeback that we had. And the fans here are some of the best in the world, and they provide an atmosphere that is second to none for all sports. And golf is fortunate to be back, and I'm excited to be back here and participate in this incredible championship that has eluded me for my whole career. Any questions?
Phil, one quick one from me before we turn it over. I know you played here yesterday. Can you just offer a few quick reactions about the course, having seen it yesterday?
The course is in pristine shape. It's a remarkable golf course. It was a number of tees have been lengthened since '99, since I remember, but it seems like it plays the same. It was just very well done, and I think we're all excited for the test that this golf course provides. It looks to me that it's going to be a brutal test of golf, and that's what this championship is all about.
Great. We're going to turn it over to questions. Julia and Jonathan are in the crowd. They have microphones. If you raise your hand, they'll bring it over to you.
Right here to Jason.
Phil, after such a long layoff, how do you prepare for a tournament that you've wanted to win for so much of your career, one that's eluded you?
So that's going to be a challenge, right? It's the most difficult test in golf. I think it was important for me to have a little bit of competitive golf last week and identify some of the areas of weakness. It was one of the worst putting tournaments I've had in years, and I spent time yesterday addressing that, which is why I basically putted the whole day on the course. And in the off season, I actually made some strides ball striking wise, and I'm fairly optimistic there, but it'll be a real challenge. I mean, these are the best players in the world, and it's the hardest test of the year.
Question on the left.
Hey, Phil, I'm just wondering, in your time away, what did you learn about yourself?
I think there were a number of things that I've certainly learned, but it's given me more than that an opportunity to really prioritize those that I love, those that I care about, and develop a path forward so that I can be more engaged, be more intentional with when I'm with the people I care about, and also have a little bit more balance in my life going forward off the golf course.
Question on the right.
Phil, Christine Brennan. Hi there. As you know, you've been criticized by many people, as you referred to. New York Post, Brian Wacker, reported that the 9/11 families sent you and others a letter alluding, of course, to Osama bin Laden and the 15 of 19 hijackers that the Saudis, of course, sent, and that they say now you are a partner with them, and you appear to be pleased in your business with them. Terry Strada is the person, of course, who wrote this letter, and her husband got on the plane in Boston that flew into the World Trade Center. And they say the deaths of your fellow Americans.
No, I've read all that. Is there a
Okay.
question in there?
Yes, there is. How do you explain to them, not to us, but to them, what you've decided to do?
I would say to the Strada family, I would say to everyone that has lost loved ones, lost friends in 9/11, that I have deep, deep empathy for them. I can't emphasize that enough. I have the deepest of sympathy and empathy for them.
Question on the left, Michael?
Hi, Phil. How did you feel about the PGA of America's decision to move the PGA Championship away from the Trump course in Bedminster to Tulsa in the wake of the January 6 riots? And then how do you feel about these two LIV events being played on Trump courses?
So let's go back to just one at a time. I don't really know what to say about the PGA and their decision. That's ultimately their decision. I thought that it went really well at Southern Hills. I thought it was a fun tournament to watch. I thought it was exciting. Came down to the end and was exceptional. But I don't get involved in that matter. That's for the PGA of America, and I haven't been involved in LIV Golf and their decision on where to hold their events. But those discussions should be held privately and behind closed doors.
I think you answered, but do you have any personal feeling about yourself going to a course with Trump's name on the
I care more about the quality of the test of golf, the quality of the golf course, the fan experience, and their ability to see and view the golf, and the challenge of what the venue provides for the players, risk reward, exciting to see, birdie opportunities, tough pars. I care more about that.
Question directly behind me, Ian.
Phil, you mentioned earlier you have strong emotion or respect for people who have strong emotions opposing your decision to join LIV Golf. You've obviously been one of the most popular players over the years among fans, but if a segment of your fan base decided to walk away from you and not support you anymore, would you respect and understand that decision? And if so, why? And if not, why not?
Okay, you're throwing three questions at me, so let's just try to keep it one at a time. But
That was actually just one question.
in regards to if fans would leave or whatnot, I respect and I understand their opinions, and I understand that they have strong feelings and strong emotions regarding this choice, and I certainly respect them. I respect that.
Question on the left.
Hi, Phil. I appreciate it's still early in the week, but what sort of welcome back have you had, or what sort of welcome back are you anticipating you'll have from your peers who will feel betrayed by you and have lost an awful lot of respect for you?
I have the utmost respect for the players on the PGA Tour. There have been a lot of friendships that have gone on for decades with Amy and myself. There have been a lot of memories that we shared, experiences that we shared. And many of the players on PGA Tour are people that I look up to and respect the most. I think that I respect if they disagree. But at this time, this is the right decision.
And just as a follow-on to that, I think a Boston crowd can be pretty vociferous at times. You were once adored by the American public. A lot of them are now feeling pretty angry towards you. if you do get booed and heckled this week, will that hurt?
I think the Boston crowds are some of the best in sports, and I think that they have given me a lot of support, and I'm very appreciative of that over the years. And I think that their excitement and energy is what creates such a great atmosphere. So whether it's positive or negative towards me directly, I think it's going to provide an incredible atmosphere to hold this championship. I think it's going to be a great event, and the people here have a lot to do with that.
Hi, Phil. Ann McGorry here. I'm curious, what does legacy mean to you? And do you think your legacy will change now that you're associated with LIV Golf?
So I'm going to try to just, I don't like it when you keep asking multiple questions, but as far as legacy, and I'll just address that, I would say that I've been a part of the PGA Tour now for 30 plus years, and I have enjoyed my time. I've enjoyed the opportunities it's provided. I've enjoyed the lifestyle it's provided. I've enjoyed the fact that the game of golf through the PGA Tour has been able to give me and my family so much. I'm appreciative of that fact. And during that time, I've worked really hard behind the scenes as well as on the scenes to try to contribute as a way of showing my appreciation. And I've done the best I can to give back to it as well. So I feel good about that. I feel good about the efforts I put in to try to give back to the game of golf as well as the tour. And I'm excited about the opportunity that LIV Golf presents for me and the game of golf going forward.
Do you think about how your legacy may have changed or will change?
Like I said, I've done all I can to help contribute to the game, contribute to the PGA Tour during my time with them, and that's all I can do.
Question on the far right, Mark.
Phil, what are your plans playing-wise beyond after this week in terms of anything? Do you hope to do anything beyond the LIV events and the Open Championship? And just as a follow, do you feel like...
Let's just
Okay.
stop there. So I think it's been pretty public that I'm suspended along with a bunch of other players. So it would be only speculative going forward. I am going to play the LIV events. I'm going to play the British Open. But anything other than that would be pure speculation. I don't know how this is all going to play out.
Just as a quick follow to that, do you, if it's your preference, would you like to do both? I mean, obviously, the suspension notwithstanding at the moment, is that your preference going forward if that comes to pass?
My preference is to be able to choose which path I'd like, one or the other or both. I feel that, as I was saying to Ann, I gave as much back to the PGA Tour and the game of golf that I could throughout my 30 years here. And through my accomplishments on the course, I've earned a lifetime membership. I intend to keep that and then choose going forward which events to play and not.
Question on the left, right behind me.
Hey, Phil. The LIV Tour has obviously driven a big wedge through the golf world with people being pretty passionate on both sides. Is that kind of the point of starting this up? And have you had any dealings with guys like Rory and the guys who are more passionate on the other side of the debate?
The point of starting it up, I'll have to defer to those at LIV Golf. It was their idea, it was their brain trust or their thoughts and ideas that they brought to fruition. I certainly respect Rory. I thought it was what a great finish yesterday and a great accomplishment and what a career he's had. I certainly respect him. I respect his ideas. I respect all the players that choose to stay on the PGA Tour. I certainly think extremely highly of many of the players on the PGA Tour and their right to their own decisions.
Two questions on the left. First, Steve.
Phil, what's with the facial hair and is it here to stay?
That's two questions.
Amy liked it, so as long as she likes it, it's here. And when she says it's gone, it's gone.
Question, Bob.
Phil, your relationship with the USGA has been a bit tenuous at times, and just curious if you are concerned at all that they will take action in the future to make it harder for you and some of the other guys who are qualified to play in the U.S. Open, down the road.
I think that's a better question for the USGA, but I would say in regards to issues that I've had, I have had strong opinions and ideas, let's say, regarding most of the governing bodies, and I've done a poor job of conveying that. I've made it public, and that's been a mistake. That's one of the mistakes I've been making, and I'll try to, going forward, be a lot more thoughtful with my words and actions and try to keep a lot of those things behind closed doors.
Question right in the center.
Phil, you're not the first professional athlete to deal with Saudi Arabia. Motorsport, boxing, horse racing, Newcastle United in the Premier League. The US government even deals with Saudi Arabia. Do you feel the criticism of yourself and others has been maybe unfairly harsh?
That's not necessarily for me to say. I think the important thing is that everyone is entitled to their opinion. I understand that it brings out a lot of strong emotions for a lot of people, and I respect the way they may or may not feel about it.
Question on the left.
Phil, I'm curious about your reaction to the comments that the PGA commissioner made over the weekend that no one's ever had to apologize for being on the PGA Tour. Do you feel you need to apologize for being on the LIV Tour?
In regards to the PGA Tour, there's a lot of things throughout the years that the PGA Tour has done that I agree with, and there's a lot of things that I don't agree with, and yet I've supported them either way. That's the way I feel going forward for other governing bodies as well, and I'm going to try to keep any issues that I have, again, going forward behind closed doors, because it was one of the biggest mistakes I've made is voicing all of these little things.
Question on the left, Dave.
Phil, your relationship with Callaway was paused a few months ago. Have you been in contact or spoken recently with Chip Brewer, and has that relationship changed now that you've officially gone on with the LIV Series?
My relationship with Callaway and specifically with Chip Brewer transcends just a sponsorship. He's also a very good friend and somebody I look up to and respect. My conversations with my partners that I've had longstanding relationships with, as well as a number of potential new partners going forward that we've been in communication with, will play out over time. It's not high on my priority list right now, and that stuff will play out in time.
Two questions in the center. John?
John Hopkins, Phil. How do you feel about the battering you received from my colleagues last week?
Well, like I said earlier, and multiple times today and last week, I respect that everyone has their opinion, and this is bringing out a lot of strong emotions for and against with a lot of people, and I respect the opinions that everyone has.
Right behind Doug.
Phil, what appeals to you about LIV Golf that you weren't getting from the PGA Tour?
I think that there's there's an obvious, incredible financial commitment, but more than that, for all the players involved and everyone involved, but more than that, there are other factors that, with fewer tournaments, it allows me to have more balance in my life. It allows me to do things that are off the golf course I've always wanted to do, and I find that as I prioritize those that are important to me, people that are important to me going forward, this allows me to have more time with them, be more present, and to share more life experiences outside of golf.
Question in the back left, Ryan.
Phil, kind of as a follow to that, I understand you have lifetime status, but if you're so gung-ho on LIV Golf going forward, why do you still want to play on the PGA Tour?
I've worked hard to earn a lifetime membership. I've worked hard to give back to the PGA Tour and the game of golf throughout my 30-plus years of professional golf. And I've earned that lifetime membership, so I believe that it should be my choice.
Question on the left, Scott.
Phil, you've talked about growing the game of golf and LIV being good for golf. Are you at all worried that it's actually damaging the PGA Tour and golf, professional golf in general?
I believe there's a lot of things about LIV Golf that are transformative. Two specifically are a unique, different format from a format that's been the same for half a century or more. And I believe moving tournaments throughout the world and bringing that type of championship golf to different parts of the world is going to have a very positive effect globally on the sport. And those are just two instances of areas I think LIV is going to do a lot of good for the game.
I have 2 or 3 more questions. First in the back, Alex.
Yeah, Phil, outside of the golf you played last week, could you be specific on what you did to grow the game last week in London?
Alex, every day is not about what did I grow the game. What it is engaging people, bringing people out to be exposed to the game. I saw a lot of young kids out there under the age of 7 or 8 being exposed to professional golf. It was an important part of my life going forward to be driven to have golf in my life, play golf, and then ultimately play professionally. So I think the number of kids that were out there is just one area that could potentially grow the game by having those young ones involved. But there's a lot more areas and ways that last week helped, and I think it should be obvious.
Question right in the center, Joel.
Phil, you've mentioned a few times using the past 4 months to better yourself. What specific areas did you needed to address?
I mean, there were a lot of ways, but a lot of areas. But as I said earlier, being able to be more present and engage with those that I love, and not being distracted all the time with the game of golf, being able to step aside and have that time was invaluable. I also continue to work on some areas that I'm deficient of in my life. I mean, the obvious one is gambling. I've been working on that for years, and I'm very happy with where I'm at with that. But I'll have to continue to work on that the rest of my life. And this time allowed me to kind of sit still and work on these areas. But there are a lot more than that.
One last question on the left from Todd.
Phil, are you at peace with the real possibility of never playing on the PGA Tour again?
I am, again, very appreciative of the many memories, opportunities, experiences, friendships, relationships PGA Tour has provided. And those are going to last, those will last a lifetime. But I'm hopeful that I'll have a chance to create more.
Phil, do you plan to write to the families personally? It's not easy to address such an emotive issue in public. Would you prefer to speak to them or write to them privately?
I think I speak for pretty much every American in that we feel the deepest of sympathy and the deepest of empathy for those that have lost loved ones, friends, in 9/11. It affected all of us and those that have been directly affected. I think I can't emphasize enough how much empathy I have for them.
Phil, what advice would you give Jay Monahan today?
So last week I made it clear that all PGA Tour matters I won't be discussing at this time, and I believe those areas are areas that should be behind closed doors.
When's the last
Phil-
time you spoke to Jay?
October.
Phil, thanks so much for joining us today. We appreciate it. Good luck this week.
Thanks, guys. Let's have a
Thank
good
you.
week.